Congratulations to the Arsenal. We're going to step inside. JW signing on for the latest installment of the Morning Brew. Campeones, campeones. Hey, I'm going to run and whine in this morning. Oh my goodness. See you in a minute. Hey. Hey, let it play. Let it play. Let it play. Oh, good music then. Oh, my goodness. Woo. Oh, look at me. Look at this. And the last time, I won like 22 years. Back then, I had no belly. It's almost like the shit coming out with a ball. What's going on here? This flight is full. This Emirates flight is a full flight. What's happening here? I have to work on this. Oh, my goodness. I have to really, almost curb my enthusiasm. I mean, obviously, it's a serious show ahead, and we have serious matters to discuss, but I'm really, really happy. Honestly, I am truly happy. I didn't jump at myself. I didn't, go over, do anything ridiculous. I was just feeling a sense of relief and happy to know that support is something where you stay with your entity, you stay with your team, you stay with your person, whatever is that particular, that particular focus of the support. It's not only when you're up, it's also when you're down, and we're up again. So congratulations, and we talk later on, obviously, when we open the lines concerning, I'll express some more concerning yesterday and that victory, but most importantly too, we'll hear from you as it pertains to whatever concerns you on your end, any particular issues. We want you to bring it forward when we open the lines after 7. But right now, let's check in with the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Good morning on this Wednesday the 20th, 2026. Another landmark TT challenge. This time, it's to treat with the tendering process. Of course, big money involved, 150 million in this housing project. And the minister says the OPR will soon have many questions to answer. That's Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, Saddam Hussein. So hopefully at some point we could get Saddam on the program. I've had great interactions with Saddam over the years. He always promises, every time I see Saddam, I say, Saddam, when are you coming on? And he says, soon, soon. Saddam, we've been waiting, So hopefully, sometime in the not so distant future, we'll get a chance to check in with the minister. The seat is always readily available. So we could treat with this and other issues. I find it rather strange that so many from the actual government still do not make themselves readily available for a discussion. And even the Prime Minister, I would love to have a discussion with her at some point, but I can't see that happening. She doesn't really grant many an interview, and she will give interviews to people who I think it makes no sense you give interviews. I guess you see it across the world. There's not only the Prime Minister. Most of these leaders, they give interviews to folks that they favorable with, or they like, or they know they will just, bowl some nice full toss so they can hit out the park. They don't want to face no bouncers and no spin. All right, so we'll see how things go, because, you have to make yourself readily available to the media. And this goes not only for those in the leadership positions, of course, the ministers, and for those who going into the parliament and walking past the media and just blowing past reporters and being disrespectful with their utterances. I find that to be so unacceptable, to be quite honest. And I will give it some time, see if some will change their behavior. And if they don't, I'll call them out. We'll have to call them out, because you can't put yourself up for governance to handle the affairs of the nation. The reporters, the media, journalists are there to bring questions, to ask on behalf of the nation, and you're just blowing past people like the irrelevant? No, sir. And it's only when you're not in government, then you want to have an audience and let your voice be heard. But then again, in fairness, some didn't even give interviews. This current administration, who is actually behind the wheel, even when they were in opposition, many would not even they were not probably not granted the opportunity because we understand that obviously there are those who strong within their particular will and might have a particular strong voice within the party. They could bypass whatever instructions, but it seems like it's almost like a concerted effort to not interact, and I find that to be unfortunate. So again, I said all that to remind the minister that the seat is available. It's empty right now, and if you want to come in and discuss this and other matters, you see, that's the seat right now. Minister Hussein, you've been telling me for years. At the end of the day, you reach out to me. We were in a whole campaign together against each other. He reached out to me to shake a hand, and I went. I'm a man of class, a man of my word. I said I was coming, and I went. I shake your hand. As a matter of fact, to my detriment, because real people say, oh, you could do that. Oh, you could do that. But that's me. You know, I'm a champion today. I love victory, but it's in a loss. You see a man's character and you see a man's heart. And if I give my word is my honor. So I went, and every interaction with the minister so far, well, he wasn't minister at the time, but every interaction would have been very cordial. And every time I say, hey, Saddam, when you're coming on? And he's always like, come in or come in. So honestly, I'm going to call you out this morning. Minister, you're on the front page. We have some questions to ask. We have some concerns. We want to get to the bottom of the story, and you're clearly the man behind the wheel. I would love for you to sit on the chair. Look at the chair again. It's empty. That's for you, Minister. Get up bright and early. Come into the city. We get a park for you. Let's have a discussion. It's long overdue. I think people would like to see myself and Saddam have a conversation on the air, so let's make it happen. All right? That's the big story. Of course, we're looking at a development here on page 9. A search for baby Angelo widens. And this particular development will be addressed this morning because we have from the search and rescue, well, the Hunters Search and Rescue Team, their leader, Shamsuddin. That's right. So he's coming in this morning via the phone line, I believe, to really tell us what's going on. Of course, that's the senior officer on the case there in Tobago. A striking resemblance to, it's almost like a Tobago Steve Harvey at his face. Yeah, fine. You have a Steve Harvey finish, the bald head, the mustache. Officer, I feel you need to shave that mustache, you know. I've seen Steve when I look at the screen. But nonetheless, this is a most serious development. And I'm saying to you, as it pertains to our friends and family in Tobago, let's keep this young man and this situation in prayer. Look at the little boy now. Look at the eyes, the innocence, the sweet little baby boy. I'm a father. I know that it's to have a 2-year-old son, to enjoy your child at that age, to hug them up, to hold them, to throw them in the air, to run with them. You know, they're now coming into their own, and it's such a beautiful time. You wake up next to them. It's just, I mean, boys at that age are so loving. And to know that that little boy is, well, we don't know. We just don't know. There is no closure. There is no closure, and that's why I could not accept. Yes, you have a vigil, and it's a solemn situation, but, you know, they chip in and no, this is a very serious situation. And I want to hear from the team lead of Hunters Search and Rescue as to what they're doing and if they're anywhere close with any breakthrough, what they're hearing on the ground, because they're on this particular development. Let's head to the back page. And yes, it's some cricket action. That's right, Lewis finally shows up. Red Force Eyes title with a lead of 278 runs. Beautiful, beautiful cricket. And of course, some action there from the Indian Premier League, where there are many a fan too. You know, when I hear Premier League, I think of the football, but of course we have to also consider the IPL. And that's a big tournament with global appeal to all the cricketing nations. And of course, as mentioned, champions of England, Arsenal FC, after 22 years, we are back on top. And we have a Champions League final also to attend to at the end of the month. So just, you know, really a great year thus far. Let's see what's happening via the brief on this Wednesday morning. And via the brief, Spark Initiative lights up classrooms in South Trinidad. That's a TNTech employee there. Instructor 1 at the penal training facility. Some students being engaged. and it's all part of the Spark Initiative School Partnership for Awareness. So beautiful, huh? This is the kind of stuff that makes such a difference. You're going to school with this kind of apparatus, this kind of equipment, and you are going to inspire the next generation. I didn't have this kind of opportunity when I was at school. And I know I would have been excited as a student to see this kind of equipment, ask some questions to the technical men at TN Tech, and you never know. You never know. This could definitely inspire the next generation. So with that, we get ready. Let's take the pause and get into our first conversation. Former AG Gavin, he joins me, Gavin Nicholas, to treat with the Parole Bill 2026. Gavin Nicholas, up next.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Deba Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Promised, I'm joined by former Attorney General Gavin Nicholas. He's on the Zoom line this morning, and let me extend greetings to you and also congratulations from an Arsenal supporter to another Arsenal supporter. And let me tell you folks, this was not planned. This was not premeditated. This just happened to be a beautiful alignment and a frequency. So champions, yet again after 22
Indeed.
years, Gavin. Congrats.
Good morning, JW. Good morning to all your viewers this morning. Good morning to all Arsenal supporters. And I have been a long-standing, suffering Arsenal supporter.
Yes, we definitely took a while to get back to the promised land, but we are there. Again, congrats to you and great to see you, Gavin. I want to get into some of the major talking points, and I want to treat firstly with the Parole Bill 2026. Yesterday, the president of the Prison Officer Association, Gerard, would have been on the program, and he mentioned that as much as this bill in practice, based on what the proposals suggest, it could bring an ease. The reality is that the biggest part of the prison population is really the remand prisoners, as opposed to those who are serving their particular time based on a conviction. They make up clearly the numbers. It doesn't match. It's literally the massive population numbers are those in remand, and the lesser numbers, obviously, those serving. And this parole bill is really to treat with those who are serving the sentence. And in essence, if they make up the small numbers, will it ultimately bring an ease? Will it bring any kind of relief, really, to a already strained prison system? What's your interpretation of this bill?
Well, I actually like how you introduced this, because really and truly, the issue, the larger issue from just your introduction, is that of prosecutions. And we know that the DPP is in the news recently with regards to his call for more staff. So let me dial back to the parole bill and what you said earlier. The parole bill is, from what I have read, and this is just another incarnation of a parole bill that we've been discussing since 2010, 2015. The PNM put out, had a bill in 2018, and this is a further evolution of that bill. So parole has been a topic for some time. This bill appears to deal with people, as you said, with longer sentences. So as far as the definition for offender in the bill is concerned, it speaks to, I think, persons with sentences above 15 years. The 2018 bill that the PNM had put out, I think they said, they described them as sentences over 10 years. So in any event, they are dealing with the serious offenders and not the minor offenders. And from my point of view, it is always easier to deal with the minor offenders in terms of rehabilitation than it is the more serious offenders. So now let us get back to what you said with regards to the prison population, because of course, parole has been a mechanism that has been used by many governments across the world to reduce their prison population, because a lot of prisons in the UK, which I am familiar with, they, up to last year, they brought another bill to the parliament to allow for early release because the population in prison is bursting at the seams. And as you quite rightly said, with regards to remand, we have to remember that those people who are on remand actually people who have not been convicted of any crime. They are on remand awaiting trial. So you have this huge population within the prison system who have not been found guilty of a crime. And it is my view that that is the population that we should be dealing with very quickly.
Yeah, because that's the source, and that is source really of frustration. Most of the uprising and any kind of upheaval in the prison is not so much from the convicted inmates as those who are in limbo, and they're waiting and waiting with bated breath to just get their day in court.
And there can be no more frustrating thing that a human being could be going through than being incarcerated, especially if that person has not committed a crime. And if the person has in fact committed a crime, many times they're in remand for periods longer than if they would have been sentenced for the crime that they've committed. So that I had that discussion with the Chief Justice and the DPP back in 2015 to look at a list of people on remand who were actually there longer than they would have been had their sentences been carried out and had they been found guilty and their sentences carried out. So there's a real problem with that. And I can tell you that you transform a human being under the conditions of remand from being a person with hope to sometimes a person without hope, who has lost any kind of reason to follow the law when they're ill-treated in that manner, and their humanity is stripped from them in the remand yard, and it is then very difficult to rehabilitate that person back into society. So the other interesting statistic, and when I saw the Minister of Justice speak on this just briefly, I saw him mention that there were some 53,000 arrests of persons, I think over the period 2015 to 2025. So that's a 10-year period. And of those, there was reoffending in the vicinity of about 50% and upwards. That would mean, and of course, I don't know what kind of matters he was speaking with. I don't know I haven't drilled down on those statistics, but that is a very concerning statistic from any point of view. The other issue is this: a lot, and I think the majority of offenses are drug related. So we are looking at drug possession. We are looking at drug trafficking. Of course, drug trafficking is a far more serious offense. As far as I am concerned, with regards to drug possession and drug abuse offenses, these should not be prison offenses. They should never be should never attract a prison sentence. These should be dealt with as health issues, because these are personal issues of health where you fall into drug abuse and you have to be treated in a particular way to come off drugs. And therefore, there should be facilities, whether it be health facilities or facilities just designed to help these people off the drugs and back into society would be far more effective than putting them into a prison population where they have access to drugs.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the sad reality is that some drugs are also readily available within the walls, well, behind the walls.
Correct.
Let me ask you.
And the other thing is this, and just before, I have to commend the government on one thing that I saw recently, where they're moving to basically stripping the people who have had minor offenses, stripping that from their record, so that there are people, for example, who have been incarcerated before for having a joint or a couple joints in their possession, or they were caught smoking weed or whatever. And that has carried and stayed with them throughout their life and prevented them from actually getting meaningful employment. And if it is that these can be removed and persons can then get access to meaningful employment, that in itself actually helps those persons stay out of prison.
Yeah. You know, so many of the issues really, it's tied right back to the judicial system and the wheels that turn ever so slowly. And we're hearing now of resources or a lack thereof for the new courts, a shortage, as it were, of resources. What's your take on that recent development? And also, what's the solution?
So, first of all, we moved from a situation where you used to have 2 trials for a matter, in that if you had and you were charged with an indictable offense, you first had to go through a magistrate's court hearing to determine whether that should then move on to the High Court.
To know if it go upstairs, as they say. They go downstairs to go upstairs, right?
Legislation was brought to remove that necessity, so that you can now go straight upstairs, and therefore your trial can then move much faster through the system. At the magistrate's court level, for the summary offenses, the magistrate's court again is bursting at the seams. And the fact that new courts were set up and new judges put in place to deal with the indictable offenses is a great thing. It can therefore move things faster. However, if you don't have the prosecutorial staff to bring these matters forward, to prosecute these matters, then we are literally spinning top and mud, because you will then have empty courts. You have the rooms, you have the judges, but you don't have the prosecutors. So if we are going to treat seriously with the criminal justice system, we need to ensure that trials are done swiftly. And this again takes me back to the remand yard. A lot of the people who are on remand, who are there for years because their matters cannot be brought to trial, has to do with capacity, has to do with the forensic evidence being brought, because the forensic capacity is also lacking. So you have lacking prosecutorial capacity, you have lacking forensic capacity. All of these must be brought up to standard if we are to move these matters through the court system fairly and efficiently. This
culture of delay, is it intentional so that money could be squeezed from these same inmates? Because every time a lawyer appears, you have to pay this lawyer for that said appearance. There's a fee attached. And I'm wondering if this, again, culture of delay is something intentional so that the wheels of money being spent continues to be well oiled and work Because clearly, they always say crime pays, right? And who's benefiting at the end of the day from all of this?
Yes, so I've heard that argument. I've heard that argument before. Now, I personally don't practice criminal law anymore. I did that in my early years. But I could never see the benefit of dragging on matters because basically you may charge an appearance fee for that day. But if you are able to bring the matter to a conclusion, then there are other matters in the pipeline that you can then deal with. So having a desk full of matters where you're just dragging on, I find that actually quite frustrating. And of course, if it is that we want to seriously treat with the issues of the court, remember matters are postponed, not necessarily because the attorney representing the defendant isn't ready. It is usually because the state isn't ready to proceed. So that you come to court and you may have a magistrate that is overburdened with matters, so can't start trials. You may have the police prosecutor isn't present, so you can't start the trial. You may have everybody present, and then you don't have the forensics present, and therefore you have no evidence to move forward with the trial. None of those issues as a result of the defense attorney. So that puts that argument to one side.
As we wrap things up really fast in the minute that remains, through your lens and your wealth of knowledge and experience in the legal field, who will be the best personalities or personnel to put on the parole board if indeed this parole bill is passed? Because I know the parole board will be the ones to make that determination as to, okay, this particular inmate, they're worthy of the said parole, and they'll go through the process of the monitoring and the early release. Who's the best to put on this parole board based on international best practice?
Yeah. So again, having looked at the 2018 draft and this 2026 incarnation, I realized that the 2026 incarnation has taken off the requirement for a probation officer, which I think is extremely important to have on such a board. They've removed the requirement for, it used to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. They've restricted it to a psychiatrist. I think a psychiatrist and a psychologist, depending on their practice, could in fact, a psychologist could be just as effective as a psychiatrist a lot of the times. And so to a sociologist who understands what is happening in the society. So in the main, they've maintained the core personnel, which is, as a chairman, they want an attorney with at least 15 years experience. The 2018 bill had a doctor, this one doesn't. This one has a psychiatrist, which is fine. Well, I said we could probably expand that. The commissioner of police, the commissioner of prisons, and one other person, I think, acts as ex officio to the board again. So and also the board has the ability to co-opt people. So in the main, I think that they've covered most of the areas that are necessary. Yeah. But I think that we really need to get the best expertise. But with regard, let me just say this before I go. The parole bill is set to achieve a particular objective, but it can only be done so if it is that all the supporting mechanisms are in place for parole. Yeah. We had, again, in 2010 to 2015, I remember the Minister of Justice, Kash Ramada, brought legislation with regards to the ankle bracelet, again, so that you could allow people into the society and have them monitored so that they could be eased back into productive, I suppose, existence. that dragged on for a while. I don't even know if we've ever used the ankle bracelet situation.
Well, I'll tell you, the perspective has been a great one this morning. Let's keep in touch. And again, congratulations. We have done it. All the best.
We'll be supporting for a while, and Champions League, here we come.
Yes, indeed. Governor Nicholas touching base with us, former Attorney General, on this parole bill and the shortage of resources for new courts. We take a pause and come back. Much more around the corner. Tobago Talks next, and some of the concerns with the blue wave will be addressed.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Are you suffering from acute situations such as pain and sprains, arthritis symptoms, injuries from sports? Advances Flexi Joints, made and approved in the EU, is built to help. Pain relief, inflammatory action, regeneration and protection of connective tissue, and improve joint mobility. Designed with not 1 or 2, but 7 scientifically powerful ingredients. Each vial of Flexi Joints increases absorption, allowing for more ingredients per serving than any tablet. Find Flexi Joints at leading pharmacies, Superfarm, and Pennywise.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have a bit?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order. Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2 Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Your heart, brain, and body with omega-3. Packed with essential fatty acids, omega-3 helps support heart health, brain function, and overall wellness. Whether you're staying active, focused, or simply living life to the fullest, make omega-3 part of your daily routine. Live healthier with omega-3. Wellness that works from within. Tune in to Wellness Unlocked on CNC3 Sundays at 5 p.m., also on Monday and Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m.
This and every Wednesday, Tobago Talks, and when Tobago Talk, we listen. Dr. Denise Soifat-Angus, political leader of the IDA, joins me on the Zoom line. Always a pleasure to have you on the program, Dr. Soifat-Angus. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Indeed. Feeling is quite mutual. I want to tell you, the concerns coming out of the sister aisle, I want you to bring it to us in real time. I've I'm hearing of some facility issues, issues with the washroom facilities. What's the latest as it pertains to this Blue Wave, which more or less is a new addition, a much needed addition to get goods and product to the sister aisle? What's the latest?
And you're quite correct that Tobagonians were really looking forward to the relief that this Blue Wave Harmony boat would bring. And that is why a lot of them were literally suffering in silence over many of the incidences that have been taking place over the last few weeks with the Blue Wave Harmony. I got a call a couple of weeks ago where it was hobbling on one engine and it would come in much later than expected, leaving much later than was scheduled. And I didn't take it on. I said, let's see, sometimes boats go down, but at least it is traveling. But about 3 or 4 days ago, I got a message with some pictures about what was happening with the toilet situation. So we had to verify that, and then we actually sent out a press release, speaking of the concerns of the persons who were traveling to Trinidad and unlikely those who were coming up from Trinidad also. The fact that you have 2 porta potties sitting down in the where the cars are being housed, and basically there's no water immediately coming out of the area, and you have this place open to be used. I also understand that persons are actually not in cabins, sleeping on the floor, and it is very, very undignified the way it is being done. And I understand that this part of it has been ongoing for weeks. They tolerated it initially, but now it really has become out of control because of the stench emanating from these outside porta potty areas.
Is this a maintenance issue? Because I'm trying to figure out, why would one bring porta potties on a moving vessel when it should be equipped with a washroom area? I mean, every boat, for it to get any kind of approval, must have some kind of, there must be facilities. Is it that the facilities on the boat, it's being used by the staff? What's the real?
It's being used by both staff and the public. So the question is whether it is, lack of maintenance, or whether it's truly out of order and it just has not been taken care of. And the question the government should be answering is, you're paying $25,000 a day, I believe, and should you not have better facilities? It shouldn't take weeks for something like this to be addressed. And it has gone on for a few weeks now, I understand.
Well, I guess, that's really a quite alarming. I mean, that's cause for major concern.
Alarming, yes.
Quite alarming. But I guess the fact that the boat is sailing, because, you'd have to put the boat on dry dock to fix a toilet, I would imagine. That could be sorted out.
Yes. And at what level of inspection does the boat pass? Because this is literally a public health nightmare waiting to happen. You have these units downstairs where you go to the ablutions, and then there's no water supply close by to wash your hands or to do anything with right after you come out. So we've gone back to the Stone Ages.
Yeah, this is...
Maybe they had water close by, but this is not acceptable.
Of course, clearly from
a medical point of view, it is not.
Are you hearing of any kind of solution to the matter? Is there any word from THA, from central government, as to when this will be rectified?
No.
Are you, because I know you're asking questions. You're asking questions. Are you getting answers?
THA has been silent as usual. We haven't heard anything from the government either. Now that it has hit the media, I suppose somebody will come out and say something. And Tobagonians are pretty patient, you know. They ask them to have patience and grace. But they have been pretty patient because this has been going on. And basically, persons kind of said, okay, well, we will go with it for now. But after going on for weeks, they finally said, this is not acceptable. We're not accepting this anymore. And they are speaking out. And also the staff, because the staff, they're now saying, listen, the stench is so bad that we cannot continue working in these conditions. Yeah. So you may very soon see, maybe a go slow from the staff because of this activity that they have there instead of having proper toilets.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, anyone looking on could identify with going into a particular establishment, and if the facilities are not up to par, it's one that leaves you really in a dark place. It's not a good work environment. It's not good for customers, and that should be rectified immediately. And I guess now it's in the public domain, so I believe there would be some kind of relief. What's the latest in Tobago in terms of the general mood? We'll get to the economy in a few, but generally with this baby Angelo situation, what are you feeling on the ground concerning this scenario where there is no closure just yet, no clarity?
It is very, heart-wrenching for many Tobagonians, including myself. I mean, I am the birth mother of 3 and mother of many. And this really hurts to the core. And I know many Tobagonians have expressed the same sentiments. And the feeling is that after 8 or 9 days, there's no closure. And bit by bit, you're hearing different pieces of information coming out. I think including now they have about 7 persons that they have held for questioning. So it is deeply concerning, very painful to see it unfold, and the uncertainty is driving many, up a wall, as we say.
Yeah, we actually have the hunters and rescue team stepping in the next hour to tell us the latest. So we hope that very soon there can be closure. Closure is important, even if it's dire news. The family wants closure.
Closure is important. I think the whole of the country wants closure on this, because it's not just Tobago that has been following. Everyone has been following this closely.
That's right.
I think everyone is ready for closure on this, and we pray that it could be good, but every day that goes by, you're losing hope on that.
Let me ask, as we continue to deal with the issues there in Tobago, so thanks for the clarity in that regard. Let's move now to the water woes. We're hearing of certain issues. I've seen where a hotelier on the, I believe that's the northeast coast, Speyside is more north, right? Yes, Speyside side. He had to buy water, spend thousands to fill up the tanks to keep the hotel running. What's going on with the water supply, especially in the rural areas in Tobago?
Well, it's not just rural, it's across the island.
The whole island? I thought it was just the rural parts.
The whole island.
So you mean to tell me Scarborough, all in the city, all down Crown Point?
All in the west. We have not been receiving water, some people for weeks now. You're being saved by tanks that persons have to use very drip by drip by drip. Because you're not sure when you may see water in the taps. Water may come after weeks, and it's only for like 15 minutes, and then it's gone. So that's not even enough to replenish your tanks to go again. So it has been very difficult. And even in the West, you have hoteliers who are saying they are paying over $1,000 to bring water in through the water trucks, and that they have suddenly decided not to take on any guests coming in, especially unexpected guests, because they cannot predict the water supply and they don't know whether they would have water to, treat with the guests coming in. So it's affecting business on all sides again, because persons feel that they cannot bring persons in and give them the service that they're accustomed to giving because of this water supply. So you have to pay for water, and then you have no income coming in to treat with having to pay for these extra amenities.
Through your investigation,
it is really unfortunate.
Through your investigation,
I myself have been a victim of that.
So through your investigation, what's the source? Why all of a sudden this water issue? I mean, I know it's still very much dry season and conservation is important, but I'm trying to figure out why now? What's happening and causing this particular issue?
WASA has not been forthcoming on a real issue that makes sense yet. We know that a number of wells were dug over the last number of years, and you're wondering, what is happening. It's not the first time that we have had a very dry season, but it's the first time that it has been this severe in terms of how the water is being managed and distributed across the island. We had our community had a meeting with one of the THA officials, the representatives from the area last night, and we begged them that THA has to call a meeting with WASA, because under the 6th schedule, they have that responsibility and authority to call that meeting and give us some clear answers and a clear plan as to how we are going to be managing this crisis on the island, because it is affecting businesses and eventually the economy on the island. So I hope that that meeting will be held soon to truly understand what is going on, and then hopefully they will let the people know what can we expect and perhaps decrease the price of the water truck. I mean, this is becoming as another way of revenue generation for the government, because $1,000 per truck to get water, that is really harsh, especially at these times with everything else that we're dealing with. And I think water is some of the basic needs that we expect to have provided in this country.
Dr. Falangas, I want to ask you, as you mentioned the word economy there, what's the latest in that regard? I know many here in Trinidad, especially when I talk to the groundsmen, they suggest that the ground is a bit dry, but I know Tobagonians are very industrious. They seem to always find a way, and I know there is lots of opportunities to get the wheel turning in Tobago. Is this the reality? What's the sentiment on the ground when you talk to your groundsmen out there in Tobago?
If you think the ground in Trinidad is dry, in Tobago it's even drier.
For real?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Business persons are crying out. Remember, Tobago has been hit time after time by different issues. We had the boat issue that affected all of the supplies, and persons are still recovering from that time. I spoke to a businessman who said that basically he's just trying to manage his overdraft from that time where he's still expected to pay, but he never had goods to sell. So people are still managing that. And then those who are in the tourism sector, managing the water and how that impacts you with persons actually coming, whether you decided to accept persons to be on site, or and whether it was justified enough for you to order $1,000 truck to come to take care of the guests that you may have coming in. So it's a challenge. New jobs are not popping up, and recently we had the 250 homes that the THA is supposed to be building, where 2 contractors from Trinidad actually got those contracts. So you can expect that $250 million that should have been staying in the Tobago space for local contractors to work with, that is no longer predictability. And therefore, again, you cannot expect a lot of that money to stay in Tobago. So we do have serious challenges on the island, and the economy is not in a good place.
In the seconds that remain, do you anticipate any kind of injection for this diving tournament that's going to take place in Charlottesville this weekend? Is it Charlottesville or Speyside? I know there is something up country, this massive diving, Dodds diving. You're aware of that? Is that going to generate some kind of momentum?
I heard about it. The question is, you would expect that when you talk about injection, you expect to have a number of tourists coming in for that event. When that event took place last year, there weren't that many tourists. It was really the locals who saw it as an opportunity to go out and experience this new way of this diving event. And you had a lot of locals out there at that event, but you didn't necessarily see a lot of tourists in the area. So we're waiting to see whether it is really bringing tourists or whether it's just another entertainment experience for locals, for us to forget the pain that we're actually feeling. I know persons attended last year and they felt it was an exciting event, but those are locally, so that doesn't really bring the revenue that we want. And I think for many of us, we would have liked to see or hear from the THA, okay, we had this event last year, this is how much we injected into it, and this is the revenue that it brought in from persons who visited from across, other countries to see this event. So we look forward to see if this year brings other persons from outside.
Well, as always, a pleasure chatting with you. All the best, and keep us in the loop with all developments regarding Tobago. All the best.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
You're most welcome, Dr. Denise Soy-Farangas, political leader of the IDA. We get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. We come back with much more after 7. Congrats to the Arsenal.
Your future is safe with us. No matter your age or where you're from, or what doors are open to each and every one. Your financial needs are sure to be met. At Police Credit Union, there's zero regrets. A variety of services that's accessible and reliable. Here to show you just what service is. Helping where we can, but with a smile. So grow with us today. We can do this together. We can secure the future. We can secure the future.
Police Credit Union. Your future is safe with us.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Calling all filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Time check. Brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
morning, I'm K-Marie Fletcher with headline news on CNC3 and the TVC Radio Network. PNM Deputy Political Leader Sanjeev Budu is calling on the Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, Saddam Hussein, to directly address allegations of nepotism surrounding appointments and contracts at Landmark TT. Budu made the call yesterday as scrutiny intensifies over claims that friends and close associates of the minister may have benefited from positions within the state agency. Last Friday in Parliament, Hussein defended the procurement process for developers selected for Landmark TT projects, but he did not specifically address claims that close associates may have benefited from appointments linked to the agency.
In respect of the allegations that I have seen circulating about what appears to be some sort of nepotistic appointment happening, I think that the minister really should say something to the public. It's either that it is so or it is not so. If it is not so, then there's no problem. Come out and say that. If it is so, I'm sure there must be some logical explanation as to what is the connection among these people. But I do think that the public ought to be told something on it.
7 people are now in police custody as the search for missing 2-year-old Angelo Tobias Plaza continues. The home of one of the suspects was raided yesterday in Goodwood, Tobago, as authorities continue to look for evidence to find the toddler. It has been 9 days since Angelo was reported missing from his Cambridge Trace home in Goodwood, Tobago. His mother, Khalifa Tobias, and her partner have been detained since Friday.
Charges are not in contemplation at this time. Right? We are still in the investigative process, and notwithstanding 48 hours pass, as long as the police are actively pursuing all information and leads, I think they are justified to have people, detained.
NGC Chairman Gerald Ramdeen is defending the state company's decision to end its 21-year relationship with international ratings agency Moody's, saying the move does not represent a retreat from transparency or independent scrutiny. In a letter responding to criticism from former Minister Vasant Bharat, Ramdeen said NGC had instead engaged Fitch Ratings while maintaining its existing relationship with S&P Global Ratings. Ramdeen said all 3 agencies are internationally recognized members of the Big 3 credit ratings firms and argued the decision was part of a strategic realignment rather than an attempt to avoid oversight. He further stated that the suggestion that NGC is somehow retreating from scrutiny is plainly absurd, adding that the question is whether the agencies engaged are independent, competent, reputable, and internationally recognized. This has been Headline News. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news at noon.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Food Basket Marketplace, Arima, Shogwana, Charflair, and Goville. Everyday low prices. Clean and white bleach, 950 ml, $15. Blue Waters Cran Water, 1 liter, 2 for $15. Hibiscus all-purpose flour, 2 kilograms for $15. Hooks May cornmeal, 340 grams, $15. From fresh produce to pantry essentials and household items, visit Food Basket Marketplace, Arima, Shogwana, Charflair, and Goville. Food Basket Marketplace, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Welcome back to the second hour on a Feel Good Wednesday, a champion Wednesday for me and all the Arsenal supporters. And it's a champion conversation up next when it comes to Caribbean integration, Caribbean dialogue. Put me to the front of the class. It's something I've always used the platform to advocate, to to bring awareness to. And I can safely say it's happening in a meaningful way in Montego Bay in Jamaica from the 14th to the 18th of June. It's the 11th biannual Jamaica Diaspora Conference. But what you'll soon realize from our guests, this is more than just that conversation for the Jamaican diaspora. This is one where all are welcome. I mean, you know the saying, or more so the watchwords, as it were, out of many, one people. This could spread from not only Jamaica, but ultimately all of us in the region. And I want to welcome Glenroy McIntosh from the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council to really give some light on this most important conversation and probably show in real time, or at least express some of the numbers, because you'll be surprised to know how many of our people are scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. And you mentioned something while we were having our discussion during the commercial break. We speak about the brain drain, but this meeting could tap into what's described now as a brain gain, to tap into the resources, to network with all those brilliant minds, not only from Jamaica, but by extension, the wider region. So welcome to you.
Thank you. Good morning, JW. Thank you for the opportunity. I think it's important to share that the Caribbean can mirror each other, right? The different islands or states of the Caribbean can mirror each other. Whilst Jamaica has lead the way in terms of institutionalizing the diaspora as part of its framework, Trinidad, Barbados, even St. Lucia and other Caribbean countries can follow that lead as well in creating or being deliberate about what Caribbean diaspora represents. It's interesting to know that the Jamaican community, diaspora community, it's estimated around 4 million persons.
This is outside of Jamaica?
Outside of Jamaica.
Outside of the land we love?
Outside of Jamaica, land we love. And
wow.
Trinis, or Tobagonians rather, it's estimated that there are over 300 to 400,000 Trinbagonians living across the world, whether it be from U.S. all the way to Middle East.
That's more than 25% of the population, you know?
That's right. Imagine that.
Imagine that. And you know, what's important about this conference? We've been doing it from a cultural perspective in terms of enjoying each other's music and cuisine and the culinary movement. It's happened so organically. But what we're treating with here, I would imagine, is business. We're dealing with ways to network, to pool resources, and to pool brain power. Who's your target audience for this conference in Montego Bay?
So the target audience is for, it's the perfect opportunity between government officials, private sector personnel, as well as industry personnel, and the diaspora persons to connect, to collaborate, to strengthen that engagement between each other. Often there would be bureaucracy in trying to invest, to trying to understand what the government's needs are, and this creates a perfect platform for those key players or key stakeholders to have that conversation over a period of between the 14th to the 18th, and by extension, the Caribbean now, in particular Trinidad, can replicate that, where you have approximately 400,000 Trinis be now integrated within a structured framework to say whether it be an investment in Moruga, whether it be investment in Santa Grande. So there are rooms or opportunities for collaboration on that as well.
Is there any data collection? Is there any particular space where people, at least they got emails, you got contacts for our diaspora personnel out there?
And that's the opportunity. I'm glad you asked that question. That's the opportunity where, because there's no structured database to capture whether it be skill sets, whether it be the type of profession, whether you're entrepreneur, whether you are a financial specialist, or even working in oil and gas. There's needs for a database that capture all of that, as well as to engage young persons as well, because they are not just the future, but they are now.
You know, we're seeing is so important, and I think what you're going to bring is some structure that's much needed, because it happens organically. I go to Sweat when I go to Orlando. It happens every Sunday morning with my good brethren Coel. We grew up as neighbors together in St. James. He lives out there now. And it's a Caribbean sweat. That sweat is Jamaicans, Trinis, Guyanese, Bajans, strictly Caribbean men playing football religiously every Sunday. They do a little pot after in the park. And if you see that unity and that love, those guys are brothers, you know. The way they operate like family. And I say, look at this, it's just a football swatch, you know.
Yeah.
But you see the camaraderie, you see everybody helping each other, who's a plumber, who's a this, who's the IT man. I was sitting back looking at the interaction and I said, wow, this is so beautiful.
And I would go even further because I think you appreciate more of the love for your country when you're outside versus when you're home. And to extend that point where if the Caribbean can look at itself as a block, so rather than competing with each other, for example, if you're interested in seeing turtles and turtle watching, you could recommend rather than recommend to Trinidad. If you're looking at in terms of the mud volcano, whether it be Trinidad or even St. Lucia, so you can mirror each other, complement each other. So it's a way to strengthen each other as a group, and of course in doing so, it builds you don't just wait until you reach outside, but you build it within.
And what I'm thinking also, we are all vulnerable based on our location to elements concerning climate change and what we have seen, especially last year, Black River, Melissa, and the devastation it caused to the coast. We realize when one is down, all step in to help. So when it comes to that kind of rebuilding process, resilience, I'm thinking also this is a perfect opportunity for us to be on the same page.
Excellent. And I must give kudos to not just the Caribbean, but in particular Trinidad. When Hurricane Melissa happened last year, the overwhelming support that we got from not just local persons, but business persons, NGOs, and even the Prime Minister herself stood up and made a difference. We were able to send multiple containers, 20-foot containers, even 40-foot containers. The chambers stepped in, even giving cash. And that today is one of the testament to say, in times of need, the Caribbean rallies to support each other. And that's even the theme of the conference, really building a resilient Jamaica.
So we were talking off air about a particular concern of mine. I know it's also a concern not only for yourself, for everyone looking on. Where do we, or how do we engage to get some of these taxes down so that we could travel and see each other in a manner that is not going to put a serious dent in the pocket? Because it baffles me. I pay less to go to New York compared to going to Jamaica, compared to going to, I mean, we're hearing of prices to Grenada now. Grenada, I mean, what is that? I remember the days Grenada used to be 800 TT. It's no more, I mean, I know everything going up, right? Okay, we're living in a different time, but my goodness, are we anywhere closer to getting into that serious conversation to at least make sure airfare is affordable so that the groundsman, the average man and woman could just visit and go see their Caribbean neighbor?
That's a tricky but important question to be had. I think more than ever we need to make have deliberate conversations, even though it may be uncomfortable, to say what are the inhibitors for Caribbean travel. If it's because of monopoly, so to speak, then how can we expect to opening up the market to create more discussion and more room for competitive rivalry? Because, of course, if there is more competition, so to speak, then the Caribbean benefit by the travel and the business opportunity it presents, where new persons now come into different countries rather than having a limited market currently. So look at it from a pros and a cons, where there can be strategic gains from both countries by travel.
How do we balance the scale, Glenroy? Because naturally we have seen where the two biggest, when we look at scale and capacity, Jamaica, with their population close to about 3 million now, and you're seeing even more living outside. Trinidad's population 1.4, 1.5, but you could add an next 400,000 onto that. And then we have our brothers and sisters who might be 100,000 or 60,000 here and there, 200,000 here and there. How do we ensure that some of our smaller island brothers and sisters feel part of the bigger conversation and don't feel like, well, you know, because I don't like this big island, small island discussion. Ultimately, we are all small islands.
Yeah.
We are a collection of, we all small, right?
Yeah.
But together we are so much stronger. How do we balance the scale to ensure that the voices of you know, the ones with not as much of the population still feel that their voice is strong and heard within this kind of conference and discourse?
So that question, it brings me back to a point that made us the original Caribbean. And it brings me back to the 60s and the 70s in cricket, that unifier. That Caribbean is represented by cricket, West Indies cricket. The culture, the music, the people, the resilience, and also the fact that our ability to take what the inner talents that we have in terms of whether it be the cocoa within Trinidad. Trinidad has one of the best cocoa in the world, right? Stuff that we have innate, and then taking it and running with it on a global space. Today we can testify of the impact of Bob Marley, the impact of Lord Kitchener, the impact of the Mighty Sparrow, and even Calypso Rose on a global space. So even the smaller island, so to speak, removing that mindset that we're not a small island per se, but together we are a block, we are a region, and a region of difference.
Yeah, well said, well said. For those looking on, is there a way to at least get a recap to log into this conference? Is it going to be available online? How do folks get more information as we wrap things up?
So I would refer persons to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade website concerning the biennial conference. It's the place to be because it's no longer where you're looking out and just wanting to have conversation. It's a perfect place to be there. The costs related to, information related to the costs are also provided. And also you can see that the hotel's availability is also provided.
Yes. Well, thanks a lot for the information. Out of many, one people and
one Caribbean.
One Caribbean, you know, and I want to extend that, yeah, indeed, to one Caribbean. All the best, Glenroy, and thanks so much for touching base. This is going to be a great one. I love the fact that it's a brain gain, not a brain drain. Well said. Much more after we take the pause. Stick around.
At CTS College Private Secondary School, we understand that every student learns differently. This is why we provide them with the freedom to choose their ideal workload. With full-time and part-time classes delivered face-to-face and online, and dedicated teachers to help them reach their academic goals. We also provide regular updates to students and parents. Plus, we have affordable rates and flexible payment terms. Enroll today at CTS College.
There's a hole in the bucket.
Well, fix it, dear Johnny. Just fix it. And while you're doing that, remember the roof is leaking, the house need painting, all those kitchen tiles need changing. So tell me, Johnny, what about the plumbing? The driveway needs paving. Plus, you promised to add a new room to the house. I find it's about time. Johnny, fix it.
There has never been a better time for a TBLA home improvement loan. Call us today at 623-1501 or visit us at tblamortgages.com.
Love Mom with a gift from PRW Enterprises. Huge sale on smart TVs as low as $1,150. Give Mom an HP laptop for $3,000. Samsung A9 tablet, $1,199. Robot vacuum only $1,299. Bluetooth party speaker, $2,500. MSI 21.5-inch monitor, only $850. Call PRW today at 285-9779.
On the phone line this morning, Shamsuddin, the team lead at Hunters Search and Rescue. Shamsuddin, let me say good morning to you. I know it's a circumstance that's rather unfortunate. There is no closure, no clarity just yet. And I know usually when you and your team are on the scene and on the case, you're able to follow your leads and make a breakthrough. Let me ask, what's the latest coming out of the Sister Isle, and are we anywhere close to finding young Angelo? Good morning, Samsudeen. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, it's a heartbreaking thing on Angelo was missing. It was reported missing on Monday, and presently he's still listed as missing. Search is conducted in and around the area, so he's listed as missing. But just for a little note, there is to call a little bit of information that come out this morning. So let's hope and pray that, family can have a little closure and move on.
Yeah. Sham, I just want you, if you could just hold the phone a little bit closer and speak up a little bit, because I want to ensure that there is clarity in your words. But I want to ask you, firstly, we heard this search started in the sea, in the ocean, and then it's moved now to land. Walk us through that particular transition and in terms of that working relationship with the TTPS, because I'm sure you all are working side by side, so all hands obviously on deck. So just walk us through the early part, because we're into day number 9 and still no sight of young Angelo.
Well, when the stepfather raised the alarm pertaining to baby Angelo, he raised the alarm that he went missing on Monday evening around 7 o'clock. That stages, and then there are some reports that some sighting of baby Angelo in the ocean. So it's not too far away, but 250 feet away from the ocean to the houses. So due to that, and then somebody says they saw, something looked like baby Angelo. So our member was on the ground from day one. Our Tobago team leader, which is led by Clint, and he is a fireperson as well. So he retired the same period of time. So he was gathering information, pick up, walk along, with the authorities. Then on Thursday, we understand that, listen, we kind of realize that this information about the sea is not adding up on our end. So we have a discussion, and we said, listen, we just come to Tobago, and we may see what we can pick up and move on. So that's how we come to Tobago. On Friday, we reached Tobago immediately, launch our own investigation, and the TGPS booked of us do our investigation. They do the one, we do our one. And we pick up that, according to the information, this child did not missing on Monday. This child missing on Sunday evening. And I draw an inspector's attention. Sunday evening, we have a discussion over it. I went through it. So he keeps, on the point of what they have or what we have. So there was a lot of information hearing, pertaining to baby Angelo. So we keep that going, and then information keep coming in, and then we try to add it up quickly and realize it's changed from the sea to the land, because the inspector was asking us to comb certain areas, which we did. Right? We combed the shoreline, we combed the in and around the house, both sides, not on the southern side of the house. We combed swampy areas, we combed forested areas.
Even the landfill, Sham, because I'm seeing footage on screen where there would have been search in a landfill. And my question to you, where does one even start? Because a landfill is such a vast space with debris, and obviously it's a landfill. It's things scattered near and far. Where does one even start? And obviously I could imagine the conditions working there too, the smell, walk me through the strategy going into that landfill.
Well, the landfill information that we receive on our end, right? That's what happened. That the information we received that take us to the landfill, and also the information that we receive is take us directly to the area that we are discussing in the land. Because the landfill huge, right? It's big, but we also narrow it down to a particular area. That's why we stick to that area.
Okay. So any plans to expand? Any plans to expand it? Because I know you're based on information in narrowing down, but is there that room to expand the search perimeter, as it will?
But now, according to our information so far, I don't feel any information more can be accurate than what we have direct to where we targeted in the landfill.
So it's a targeted area and a targeted search right now?
Right now, for us, right, in that landfill, because of the information that we have. We have a lot of information pertinent to that, and all was sent to the PCPS. So analyzing it, they work on it, so the working lead that they have also coming in. Every lead come, they work on it. Yesterday there was some things in the Big Farm area. The police went on that side. Even Monday, while we was by the landfill, there's an alarm of pulse until there was something again. The police went again. It was right there, they went to do the investigation. These things, so it, everything coming to the police, they're dealing with it. But on our end, the Hunter Search team, we see what information we receive, which we pass to them, as I said. Right?
Sham, I want to ask you, what's the general mood on the ground, the villagers, folks in the community, those you interact with, as it pertains to this search and this most unfortunate development? What's the sentiment you're getting on the ground?
Well, I was there last night, the night before, most of the night I was. It was a shock to the community itself in the Goodwood area to know that this child used to play right in the, not too far from where he went missing. And it was so shock for the community to know that, it happened right where them live. And according to the police, the police, 7 persons get arrested who presently in police custody. They kind of were, shocked to know that, even people among them, right? The police also asked for investigation. So it kind of, the community did not expect it would happen to this would happen in the communities. So they kind of little, sometimes they see them in a good spirit, sometimes they see them in a bad spirit, because it shocked them to know that it happened and, it's very sad. It's very sad, and they just want closure. The community just want closure and want to move on with their normal lives, because they said it would sit there until maybe Angelo, that at least they know what happened. They will not give up. Every night will continue that prayer service, and even they asked today to have a huge war in the area. They are working on that to put that in place. Yeah.
Asham, on a personal note, for you as an adult, what kind of tool psychologically does this bring to you? Does this weigh on you at all, on your shoulder, on your mentality, on your psyche, knowing that you're actually searching for what? We don't know the circumstance. We're praying and hoping that young Angelo is in the life of the living, but every day that passes, the chances of that become slimmer. What tool is this on you, knowing what you're searching for, a little boy, as it were?
Well, that's a very good, interesting question, because it remembers me why I would say helping people. Right? I could have been home sleeping comfortably with my family and my wife with me all over another member. And this is the said reason that make me outside, because when Andrea Bartlett, go back quickly, when Andrea Bartlett missing, I have my small daughter with me, she's 3 years at the time. And then I realized there's something wrong with her. What will I do? And so I said, no, I had to get up and help, and started. That's how Hunter Search team started. Because of that motivation, because I had a child at that time. It's a similar age, 2 years and 3 years. So I know what people have been going through, because who you will turn to, who you will go for assistance in these kind of things. The police outside, sometimes have other information, they pass it to the police. But you feel they may not act, but the police act, right? Whereas they come to the Hunter with this information, we will try going around now and make sure each information come to us, we verify it and move on. So it's something that is a trauma to families, to fathers, to mothers, to aunt, the grandmother at least break down. She break down with tears. Right? The grandmother, she was born already, she have a conversation about 5 o'clock. You know, it's not something. It's not easy for a parent to go through this. To know that your loved one, you know, be with you. This is the joyful time of a child. You know, to enjoy the child. Run around, wake up, playing, run around, and it was take away from you so easy. You know, it's not easy. It's not. It's just.
Well, Sham, I really wanna thank you and the team for the. I mean, this is work that is so tremendous that you all do. You know, taking of your time, as you said, you know, being away from your own family, and we pray that there is some kind of closure and there is some clarity as this story unfolds into day number 9. Sham, all the best, my friend. And just before we go on a lighter note, I was listening to the accent. I'm getting a land of many waters. Am I spot on? Is it a Guyanese accent I'm hearing there?
You're spot on. I'm originally from Guyana.
Yes,
right?
yes. That's my place, you know. That's my place. Yes, man. So I want to thank you, my Guyanese brother, for being here and for being part of this major search and rescue. And I want to thank you and the team yet again. Keep us posted, and I hope.
Before I go quickly, let's hope. I think the police will make a press release today.
Yeah.
You know, I just hope and pray that they will have a press release today, and they will give an update on how the case goes.
Sham, all the best, man, and I hope there is some clarity and mostly closure to this most unfortunate circumstance and story. All the best, Sham.
You too.
That's Sham there from the Hunters Search and Rescue Team, the team lead. I know saying certain words. I say, I'm getting a nice the Guyanese twang inside there. Good morning to all my friends from Guyana. My great-grandfather, matter of fact, is Guyanese. You know, I found out that when I did some family research. So the Caribbean link on my side, it's Guyanese. It's Barbados through my father's side. My grandfather came from Barbados, and St. Lucia also on mommy's side. So, I mean, everyone. There's some kind of Caribbean connection, even if it's not in the past. You could meet somebody and end up having a Caribbean connection. I mean, we just separated by water. So, I just wanted to mention that. We take the pause, we come back, and there is much more ahead. That's right, one day at a time. The concert. Alicia Jagasa joins me on the Zoom line. This is happening in June, and it's happening at La Jolla. Full details after the break.
Out of the ordinary with Answer Bank and enjoy faster returns. With Answer Bank savings accounts, you earn interest monthly and keep what's yours. Pay no monthly maintenance fees, no point of sale fees, no ATM fees, and no digital transfer fees. Switch to a new way of banking.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, your heart deserves better.
Discover your favorite treat with Casey Candy Gummies. Sweet or sour, dive into a wave of fun shapes and flavors. Our halal gummies are made with fruit juices, and every bite is packed with fun, chewiness, and pure deliciousness. Perfect for an everyday snack, birthday parties, or lunch boxes. Make your snack time irresistible. And enjoy your day with Casey Gummies.
Living with diabetic neuropathy is exhausting. The burning pain and tingling that won't go away? Introducing Myolaxin D Gel, made for pain relief. Fast absorbing, non-greasy, and easy to apply. Its Carbomer gel formula delivers relief deep at the nerve level. Oleoresin capsicum helps reduce pain signals.
And you lost because pride. This court and is an embodiment. We are where you a joy to have Alicia Jagasa with me on the program. Last time she was here on the set live. This time she joins me on the Zoom line. Alicia, great to see you as always, and I look forward to all the details concerning One Day at a Time, the concert at La Jolla.
Good morning. Buenos dias, Jason, and the entire CNC3 team, and Trinidad and Tobago, and all the international viewers and listeners. Buenos dias a todo.
That's right. That's right. You know, I when it comes to Parang and stuff, I know that's where it's at. But I recognize this particular showcase. It seems to be a full mix, a full complement. All genres going to be explored. Walk me through the concert itself and the purpose.
Well, the concert it's a fundraising concert. It's for myself and one of our Parang icons. I recently had some health challenges that as artists, you know, sometimes it's a bit difficult, even though, you know, especially when you have to do things private. So that entire process really forced me to, you know, hold this fundraising concert. And along with one of our icons in Parang, Mr. George Carter, who is also experiencing some medical issues at this time. So I said, you know, at the end of the day, we are all into music and we are artists, so why not have a fundraising concert? That is who we are and what we do on a daily basis. So that's the genesis of the concert. Sadly, you know, the medical conditions continue to with their presence. We have Kevin Carter, we have Leandra, beautiful voice Leandra. We have people like Marcia Miranda coming in there. You know, Marcia is someone very versatile, so she's with us. We have people like Sherwin Winchester coming to, you know, bless us up, and a lot more artists. I just named a few because we are still finalizing one or two of the artists who already indicated that they are coming, but, you know, we just need to firm up finally. But it's definitely a variety type concert. It's only $250, refreshments included. Yours truly will be performing. I'll do a few songs myself, and it is going to be a wonderful evening where you could come and sit and enjoy some of your local entertainment and local foods also. So yes, you know, people, you know, Trinis, we like to hear refreshments included. So definitely we're going to get some wonderful refreshments.
Let me ask, in terms of tickets, where are they available? I know you said it's a $250 cost. Is it online or physical?
It's all physical. You can call 785-0218. 785-0218 or 743-3977 for tickets. 785-0248 or 743-3977 for tickets. Space is limited, so please call and get your tickets early. You know, a lot of people really have reached out to support the concert, and we are so very grateful for that. Grateful for you, Jason, and the team for even coming forward to bring it to the public.
Of course.
I wasn't going to post the flyer, but it saddened me when I saw some of the comments when they said they were doing a concert for Oscar, who has served so many of us, and the comments were not very nice. The comments of artists, and artists should save for this and artists should save for that. And when you're an artist and suddenly you become ill and the care that you need cannot be provided in the general healthcare system and you are forced to go private, it is very expensive. So I just want to sensitize Trinidad and Tobago a little bit about how things go sometimes. It's not always what you see, what it seems to be.
Yes, of course. And it brings me back to the last conversation we had when you were actually here on set, because your vocation in the music would have continues to be parang. Mm-hmm. And parang, as we know, it's a scenario where it's a psalm, it's a big band, everyone needs to get a piece of the pie. And there's no fixed price really when it comes to a parang band. And when a parang band of a particular ilk, of particular standard calls their price, people try to beat down the said price. So people might see you working everywhere, and people sometimes counting your figures more than you even. I mean, they work out the maths for you, and it doesn't sometimes seem to really. It doesn't reflect what some people might have in their mind, and the reality is everyone, no matter their vocation, if there's a medical emergency and you have to go into the private sector to treat with it, you are faced with a certain bill that is a huge bill. So this is, I don't even take on them comments. What you have to do. And again, I want to give you a final moment here to just put the information out so we could all come and support on June 13th.
Yes, June the 13th at La Jolla. It's happening. It's just $250 ticket with refreshments included. Showtime is 7 p.m. It's a variety concert, and we are asking you all to come out and support. Even make a donation. You can call the numbers and you get the information. At those numbers once again are 785-0248 or 743-3977. It's for a worthy cause, so come out and support.
Alicia, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing the information, and thanks for your continued passion, and you've brought so much joy to so many, and we'll be here for you, and you'll get through this, Alicia. We got your back.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago.
Alicia Jagasa touching base with us on this Wednesday morning. And again, just to reiterate that support for herself and her colleague, one day at a time, the concert, Saturday 13th at La Jolla from 7 p.m. Up next, we get you ready for the Agman Indian Food Festival. It's happening at Hilton, Saturday 30th May from 5 p.m. Full details after the break.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Introducing Advancis Energy Vitamins. Advancis Energy Vitamins is designed to give you the extra push you need to power through your day. It's not just any multivitamin, packed with more than 20 vitamins and minerals with added ginseng and reinforced prebiotics. A unique synergistic formula that you will find nowhere else. To help you experience more sustained energy, feel more alive and alert to keep you going strong all day long. See the difference now with Advances Energy Vitamins. Available at leading pharmacies and Pennywise nationwide.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings? For just a limited time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Credit Union is offering competitive fixed deposit rates of up to 4%. That's up to 4% guaranteed when you invest with PCU Fixed Deposit. Visit any of our locations in Barataria, Arima, San Fernando, or Tobago to get started today. For more details, visit policecreditunion.com or call us at 6124-PCU. PCU. Your future is safe with us.
Dry, irritated skin can make everyday life uncomfortable. For those with eczema, psoriasis, or sensitive, damaged skin, Manuka Derm is made with medical-grade Manuka honey, not regular honey, known for its soothing and healing properties. It helps calm, protect, and support skin recovery. Suitable for dry skin, skin tears, excoriations, and minor superficial wounds and burns. Manuka Derm, powered by Manuka honey. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Joins me live on set from the Mina House, and we are treating with the Agman Indian Food Festival. It's happening last Saturday of the month at the Hilton, Trinidad, from 5 p.m. And when we talk cuisine, when we talk authentic Indian, when we speak of culinary delights and food, this is the perfect man to speak and to treat with. Umesh, welcome, my friend. I'm looking at what's on screen, and I know it promises to be a tremendous, not a showcase, not just an event, a festival.
Yes.
Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What's, again, you're putting this together. What's the experience for the patron when they step in? Because I'm seeing it's not only food, but I'm seeing some music is involved there too.
Yeah, so music, food, storytelling, showcasing culture, spices. There'll be a booth, people talking about spices, sari tying, pagri tying, unusual thing which we live by, but we have to just get back and refresh ourselves. So a lot of history, a lot of things will be displayed, and a lot of people are talking about a lot of knowledgeable stuff.
What's the differentiation between, let's say, authentic Indian compared to our interpretation here, our style of curry, our Indian style food from Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, Trinidadian food brought in by people who traveled from India hundreds of years ago, and it's a home food basically. If you go back to India and you still go back to Bihar, Jharkhand, which was part of the Bihar, you still see litti chokha, different type of chokhas and all that. So I think people preserve their food, their culture, and identity by introducing that to Trinidad. You still see doubles on the road, right? You still see pies, and so like bangan and kareli and bodi. So this is a home food. Authentic Indian food come from palaces and royal families. So those professionally trained chefs used to work there, and they used to create different dishes for kings and royal families. Whenever they have special guests, they will have to prepare something special. So that's how our cuisine evolved. And then Indian people generally are vegetarian, but then invasion from Persia and Afghanistan, and a lot of invaders invaded India and lived there, ruled India. So that's how these kebabs, naan, tandoor introduced to our cuisine.
That's right.
So it's a diverse. It's a lot of mix of things. So that's what we call now is authentic Indian food. But for me, home food is authentic.
Yes, indeed.
Indian food.
In terms of the food, I know there's going to be lots of discussion and networking in that regard and tasting. Walk me through the entertainment and the choice of performers for the festival to really create the mood and to curate this experience.
Yes, a lot of people will be there, like dance groups will be there, Shiv Shakti, then we have Tasha group, and then Kavish and band. Then we have after party DJ, and there are a lot of guest performers, right? So it's a lot of a mix of different things. I think it'll be evening of entertainment and storytelling through food, culture, heritage, and I will be honoring a lot of heroes who preserve Indian heritage and culture in Trinidad and Tobago. So Dr. Kumbar Mahabir, Drupti will be there, Mangal Patesar will be there. We'll be honoring these guys, and also Dr. Subramaniam. So, yeah.
Excellent. Let's put the information up on screen again so you can see in real time. Physical tickets, online tickets, walk me through where we're getting them and give me that cost factor one more time.
All right, so physical tickets available on Hilton Store, Nixon X, Trinity Insurance, and Monrepo is a physical location. You can collect your tickets. The Mina House, Elysium, and the best way is to go online, theminahouse.com, online store, and you can buy Augment directly, and then we'll deliver the ticket to you, or you can collect it at the restaurants.
Chef, I understand that part proceeds will be going to a foundation.
Yes, Rapid Fighters Foundation.
Tell us some more about that.
We are collaborating with them for a while. We started with door prizes and so forth, but I like what they do for children, and I support them fully. So we had a dinner on 16th of May in San Fernando. We sponsored entire lunch, and I was physically there. I think we need to do these things more. We need to give back to the community, and it's part of our heritage and culture to give back to the community. That's why my parents and my family taught me.
Of course.
You have to connect and you have to give back.
No, very important, very important.
That will empower the future, preserve future storytelling. So it is.
No, you're doing so well in that regard. You know, I have a friend of mine who's also a chef, and he says to me, a feeder is a leader.
Yes, of course.
He says someone who feeds leads, and we have been doing that. And just on a personal note, your experience in Trinidad, you know, through these years doing business, establishing yourself, what's that been like for you?
Well, understanding more deeper and deeper in the culture. So I came to work in Trinidad, and then I became a resident. Now I'm part of this community. So I feel a responsibility. I met a lot of people every day, and I'll get to learn more people and more and more deeply. Trust me, I realize Trinidadian people preserve their heritage deeper than Indians right now. India is going toward modernization, and Trinidad is a balance of both. People still keeping their traditions. Each community, they keep their traditions, yet they're modern, they're global. Trinidad probably have more educated people in the Caribbean.
Wow, amazing.
This is my experience traveling through Caribbean.
Yes.
Also. Yeah.
Well, Chef, again, want to congratulate you in advance. I know this is going to be a tremendous offering. Let's put the information up one more time. Chef Umesh Meena here with us. The Agman Indian Food Festival on the 30th. The arrival day, holiday, and by all means, 750 part proceeds go towards the foundation there, and it's going to be food, cuisine, great conversation, the full works. All the best, Chef.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Chef, hold on, man. Hold on before we'll stick around before we officially wrap things up. Let's take that pause, and then we come back and get into some of the housekeeping, and I'll give you the weather update for today. Stand by.
That they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, you know, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I read in Guardian since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
The stories that are being covered are well detailed and they get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job and they're speaking the truth, and you know they're challenging the government to to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities. And I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian. Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
Welcome back. Let's wrap things up and remind you ways to connect, to put in the request to join me on set or to join me on the Zoom line. You're sending your email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. Nice, concise, short, to the point, and we will respond and we'll book a date. We'll see you soon. Let's head across to the social media handles: Instagram, Facebook, and X. Very active. We always vet the stories, we put them up so you could know what's happening. It's not about being first, it's about being accurate and making sure that you are on top of all developments here at home, in the region, and further afield with our international stories. Of course, another platform to do such is the CNC3 mobile app, your #1 source for your verified breaking news, all your favorite content on demand, and programming details readily available. And of course, the legacy, the fabric, the foundation that built all of us on the shoulders that we stand on, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. New look and feel, up to the time, agile, moving with the pace, and we can give you a chance to not only enjoy the paper on your tablet, your mobile, your desktop. You can hold it on hand too, but I know for those who want the digital experience, you can visit guardian.co.tt for your subscription today. Let's head in to our food for thought, words to inspire on this Wednesday morning. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water, you know. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. What is that? You can't cross by just watching it. You have to get in. Go with the waves, move with the tide. You might get rough up in between, but at least you're in. All right? Let's head across to our world weather. Well, not so much world weather wrap per se. It's literally what's happening in Trinidad. So we'll hold off in terms of international developments, but as it pertains to Trinidad and Tobago, today is expected to be mostly fair, but hazy with a few showers. There is the mild to moderate concentration of Saharan dust, and persons who are sensitive to this change in air quality are advised to take the necessary precautions. Seas are moderate with waves between 2 and 2.5 meters in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Now, the forecast high is 33 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 32 degrees Celsius in Tobago. That's right. With that, we wrap things up. It's been a tremendous program today. As promised, I said, if Arsenal goes over the line, I've been talking that for months, as I'll come out in my Arsenal t-shirt. And I did just that. I am happy, extremely, I would say, relieved. I think relief is the word, because we have battled so much over the years. We've been runners-up 3 times, you know, for 3 years running second place. Finally, we have crossed the line, and I think the ultimate lesson here is to stick to your guns, be persistent, don't give up, and support is not only when you're up, support is also when you're, I won't say down, but when things are not going your way. And that's where the real support is, and now we could get a chance to celebrate and to just, you know, enjoy it. And that to me is not just a sports lesson, that's a life lesson. All the best, TNT. Have a great one. Godspeed. I'm back for more tomorrow as we continue right here on The Morning Brew. Have a great one. Champions, champions. Hey, we win.
You're watching CNC3. As an affiliate of CNN International, we now join their current programming.
To obtain those firearms, again, we're talking about teenagers.